Here's where our hydraulic cylinder mounts.
Boat building is trial and error.
So here's our pot that we made, but here's how we built our system and the reasoning for it.
She was old and neglected, so we cut her to bare holes and built her up from the ground with our blood, sweat and tears.
So follow our journey as we plan to sail her to new destinations and make lasting memories.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another week's episode of Sailing Lady Africa. And this week we're going to discuss an hydraulic steering system, in particular our hydraulic steering system. Here's where our hydraulic cylinder mounts, and it's driven off this pin over here. So I'll just put this in as a spacer. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this box that I went to go fetch from the foam guys for free, and I want to build up this box here so that we can mount this cylinder here. So we're going to make the plug out of this and then fiberglass it all over, and then we'll remove the foam.
Push me down to the ground. What goes around?
Does it fit?
No.
No. No. Gotta reshape it.
Gotta do this front cut.
Making this box required a lot of measurements. And still not fitting.
Just need to get rid of the fillet that's at the bottom there.
Trial and error, trial and error. Hey, hun?
Yeah.
Boat building is trial and error.
Not really. Yeah.
He's lying. When it came to shaping the box, we found the sander worked the best.
How's that?
Does it fit?
Pretty close.
Oh yeah. Looks good. Looks very good.
So I built the plug, and I'm just going to pull one part out of it, so we're not too phased about it. What I am going to do is seal this foam. This is open cell urethane. Just going to seal it up with some resin and then sand that down nicely, and that will be our base where we're going to take our part out of.
While Ricky's being a Picasso, don't forget to subscribe below and join us on our adventure.
Thanks to Sos he actually gave us some materials. He's the one that suggested that we seal it. He's the bigger guy that does fiberglass in the harbor for the commercial guys. So yeah, he's the one that recommended we seal up the plug. So we're just here at the workshop, just outside with there's the boat outside there. And that's the plug that we made, and now we need to cut the glass to fit onto that plug. And that's going to be where our steering mounts on. Use that foam, cover it in a layer of resin just to seal the foam off. And I used wax-based resin, so I'm not going to sand that. I'm just going to put more wax on it now to release. And it's a once-off mold, so I'm not going to make it again. So that's perfect for that, and made the whole thing in about say 2 hours or so.
We first measured out the fiberglass that we were going to use, then applied our releasing agent. We used 12 layers of fiberglass in total, placing 4 layers at a time.
If you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I've been laying under palm trees, waiting for the summer, knowing there's nowhere to go. 'Cause I am happy on this island, wanna be my fun.
Once it had cured, Ricky started shaping and sanding it down.
And over here, that's the part that we made, but I want to add a piece of thick fiberglass in there to act as a backing plate. So I've got some of this 10mm fiberglass that I'm going to stick in there and make it extra thick with some epoxy to bond it in. So I'll bond it into place there. So I'll just get a pattern, cut it out to shape, and then bond a piece of that fiberglass in there so that it's about 30mm thick, so 1.25 thick, and then we can screw through that while mounting, and then we're going to get all of this will be bonded onto the hull and the swim platform. So here's our pot that we made, and there's a piece of 12mm fiberglass bonded to the bottom there, so just to thicken the top. So that top is pretty much, you're looking at like 15 to 20 mils of solid glass in the top here, and that's where the hydraulic ram is going to mount. So I thought it was a good idea to back that up, make it nice and thick there, just for the shear force that's on the bolts. And then we're going to put a little access on that, because once we bond it in, she's in for life. And we've got one of these little access plonk on there, and I'm cutting it out with one of these grinders, because I've got to go through, it's almost 10 mils of glass. So it's first time using one of these discs, but check it out, it's like at a curve. See? Yes, you got to take off a guard to use them. So there we go, there's the hole made and the cover. So yeah, always messy to cut with the fiberglass, but it gets it done quick. So that's going to go on there like that, one like that, and that's where our hydraulic ram mounts. Due to spacing, that's how ours is going to be. And we'll fill everything in, it'll look sexy.
You said sexy and I did like a top to bottom of you. You look sexy with your grey hair, babe.
Thank you, baby.
Like a George Clooney.
The look I was going for.
I always say when Ricky gets older, he's going to look like Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro could be Ricky's grandpa.
So another one of the big items on our list is to finish the steering. That includes mounting the new hydraulic pump, the autopilot pump, all the hydraulic lines to the ram, and connecting it to our crossbar of the rudders. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to tape everything up so that we don't scratch the paint like I did over here. So tape it up with some of this blue painter's tape, and then check how high we want it in the clearances and everything. And then we're going to I'll probably use the hole saw just to make a mark, and then I'm going to take the jigsaw and cut it out with the jigsaw if this doesn't cut too well. These wood hole saws are fine, but they don't do well through fiberglass, they blunt really quickly. But I'm going to use this to create me a really nice line, and then I'll do the final cut with the jigsaw. What I've got to mount first is this adapter bracket. So what it does is the pump mounts into there and it recesses the pump slightly, and so it doesn't mean that the pump sticks out so much, because our steering wheel mounts directly onto the pump. So, and this also makes the mounting a lot easier. Check how small that is. So you literally have to recess and then this whole thing sticks out. But if you have it like this, it's so much neater and better and easier to do the complete install. So yeah, we're going with this. So in a hydraulic system, some got bad reps because people don't understand the hydraulics, or they just don't like it, or their system's old and whatever. But here's how we built our system and the reasoning for it. The two main components is basically the manual steering pump, and this is a HTP 4210R. The R stands for non-return valve, which means that you can't get a back feed of a hydraulic pressure. So if you turn it one way, it won't automatically turn the other way out of your hand. You'd have to steer it that way. So there's a valve that stops the hydraulic fluid from going back, in layman's terms. And secondly, we got the hydraulic ram, or the hydraulic cylinder. This one we just removed the end cap that goes on here, which is the support where it mounts. So it feeds hydraulic fluid in there and moves the steering column that way, and then feeds the hydraulic fluid in there and reverses it back at the pressure that the system operates at. Thirdly, we have a non-return valve. Now you can buy these off the shelf, but we built them. They're relatively easy, and it doesn't take much to do these systems. I mean, the systems are straightforward. The connections that we used are BSP connectors. Some of them are stainless, some of them are brass. Wherever we go into brass, we kept it brass. Wherever we're running bends or external fittings, we went with stainless, just for corrosion prevention. But it runs as your two feed lines run from in here and come out here and go into the cylinder. We have this as close as possible to the cylinder, just so that it makes it easier, but you can have it further back as long as it's ahead of the hydraulic steering pump. In our case, we also have an autopilot, and it's hydraulic autopilot. So this is the system that we run. It's just an electric motor with an hydraulic pump, and that pumps the fluid. Now essentially, if you do install the electric autopilot one, you need to make sure that this is also after the autopilot pump. It just makes it better, and make sure that you're not trying to fight the pump to get through to here. So install that afterwards. In addition to that, we run with nylon pipe, and this is what's specified by the manufacturer, and this is from VETUS. The main components we got is from VETUS, and then the piping and fittings and that all according to VETUS specs. So it's nylon piping, super simple to work with, easy to cut and kind of make repairs if need be. And the connecting method is really easy. So what you got is one of these brass little tube supports, just a small little cone system, and what you do is stick it in there, and it does exactly what it says. It supports the tube. When you push it into the fitting, so these fittings go like that. It's got obviously a nut, and inside there has got a fitting. So you push it through there, and then you put your crimp fitting, which goes onto there, and that goes in together there. You tighten it nicely. The outer piece crimps the nylon hose onto the inner piece, and that's what pretty much seals it up completely. Okay, so by the steering wheel, we can have the pump directly mounted to the steering wheel. Two lines run down, and then we put a T-piece in. And what that allows us to do is feed in over here from the manual steering pump, and we feed to the autopilot pump there, and that feeds our main line to the cylinder. Just before the cylinder, then we attach the valve, which we can bypass. And the reason for this valve is, say you had a dual system failure, so the autopilot failed, and the manual and the steering wheel failed for some reason, or you had a leak or burst pipe. You can bypass this by opening that valve, and then it means that the fluid just flows and literally allows the hydraulic ram just to move backwards and forwards with no effort.
and then you can manually steer on the rudders. So that's the purpose of having this valve. It's actually, as far as I know, it's compulsory to have it. If you do have a hydraulic steering system, you need a way to manually steer the rudders in the event of an hydraulic failure. The reason why you get I think 2 or 3 different methods of doing hydraulic fittings and hydraulic piping. You get the crimping method, which is very good. If the guys crimp it well, it's for life. The problem with that is, how I see it, is if one of those fittings had to come off due to a bad crimp, or you had a leak somewhere along the line because someone maybe was chafing something along the line and it burst through, there's no way of fixing that particular piping system. You'd need to take it out, get it swaged, and obviously if you're in a remote location, you can't do that. So what we got is a couple of these straight connectors. If we did have a pipe that's cut in half, we can just take the 2 ends, stick them in either side, and that would fix up a pipe that's broken. And we're also carrying spares of every single fitting that we have here. We've got a spare of, so if it had to leak or break or whatever crazy reason, or we could help someone else out that has the same system, then we've got a few spares. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's a super simple system, and let's install it and show you guys how it looks.
Ricky's having a bad day today because it's just one of those not nice days. Hey honey, we're almost there, pumpkin. You know your day's bad when you're just lying on a bed that has no mattress on it and just staring at your batteries. But there's nothing a cup of tea can't fix. Ricky's making me sad. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to hit subscribe below if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up and click on the notification bell so it can alert you whenever we post up a new episode. If you would like to support our production, there are links in the description below telling you all the ways that you can do that. So thanks for watching, lots of love. See you next week. Stay tuned till next week when we install our hydraulic steering system.